engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. The final liftoff of Atlantis.
The final countdown to a historic liftoff, the last for NASA's Space Shuttle program. Good afternoon to you, I'm Fred Blankenship. You saw it here live. Within the last 30 minutes, NASA just launched its final shuttle mission. Nearly 1 million people were in Cape Canaveral, Florida to witness this. And Channel 2's chief meteorologist Glenn Burns is among them. He joins us live right now. Glenn, what an amazing ride.
Absolutely historic here, Fred. Now, early this morning, we arrived at the Cape, and we were still in the red mode from NASA, meaning the launch was off for all intents and purposes. But about 90 minutes before the launch, NASA gave us the code green. We have huge storms just behind me out in the Atlantic Ocean, over the Gulf of the Gulf Stream, and over the Gulf of Mexico, huge storms. But we seem to be in the center of circulation of this tropical system. The skies parted, 11:26, the shuttle lifted off, and we were about 3.1 miles away when we first started to see the smoke emanating from the engine ignite, and then it took several minutes for the sound to actually come ashore so we could actually hear the space shuttle. But it was a dramatic launch about 11:26 this morning. I hope you all got to see it. It is a piece of American history, the end of the space shuttle era and probably the end of manned space for Americans. From now on, American astronauts will have to be brought into space by Russian rockets. Now, it all began early this morning at about 7:30 when the astronauts finished breakfast. They were loaded up into the vehicle, brought to the launch pad, including our Georgia Tech alumni, Sandra Magnus. And it was just an historic thing to see, Fred. Absolutely unbelievable. And you just had to be here. You can actually feel those engines beating in your chest. It was just unbelievable to be here in person. We hope everybody got a chance to see it. Again, historic day today, the end of the Space Shuttle program, and probably the end of manned spaceflight for the NASA program for some time to come. Fred?
Glenn, as you mentioned, it's amazing just to watch it here on TV, but you're there. Like, once again, just tell us what's it like to be right there.
Well, you first start to see the smoke emanating from the engines, and then there is this enormous, what looks like a fire coming from the base of the space shuttle when the engines ignite. Then it goes up, and we were working on that ceiling. The ceiling has to be 5,000 feet. The clouds have to be above that for NASA to launch that rocket. So we see this huge ball of flame coming out of the engines, and as it lifts off, it takes maybe 2-3 minutes for you to actually hear the space shuttle, and then it goes up through the clouds, and the clouds actually parted. It was an incredible sight, Fred.
All right, Glenn Burns, live in Florida. That is history, and of course, we'll check back later today.
Absolutely.
Right, thank you. And 1 million people gathered in Cape Canaveral for the liftoff, but many, many more were watching across the country. Channel 2's Rebecca Lindstrom continues our live Team 2 coverage from the Fernbank Planetarium in downtown Atlanta with reaction to the liftoff.
There was a lot of excitement here, especially at 11:27. This planetarium was packed. It seats 500 people, and every seat was taken. And even some people were allowed to sit on the aisle so that they could take part in this historic moment. Now, a lot of people have packed in to a special exhibit here that they have at the Fernbank Science Center that talks about the space station and space technology. We had a chance to talk with one mother about why it was just so important for her family to be here today.
He enjoyed the blast off, but also I think it was the counting down of it, the weight of it, and then the last thing about it was that this was the last one that he was able to see. And it was like we were right there at it because we were so close up, and we could just see so many people excited, and we were excited too because we came here from Tennessee.
A lot of families have credited the space program for really sparking curiosity in science and technology. Some moms I had a chance to talk with say that'll be lost now with this historic launch, but they hope that there will still be programs like this that will keep these kids excited, keep them asking questions. We're going to have more on the reaction from Fernbank to the launch today a little bit later on. Reporting live in DeKalb County, Rebecca Lindstrom, Channel 2 Action News.